want Callie to know that I was coming up. And then before I went up there, at another meeting that I had with her at the hotel, she said, yeah, I just called Callie and told him you were coming. That didn't make a whole lot of sense. Then she told me that she also didn't want Kurt to know that I was coming up there and that she had hired a PI to try to find him. Once I got up there, we thought we had located him at a particular hotel under the name of Bill Bailey, which is one of the aliases that he used all the time when he would check into hotels. Mm-hmm. And when I called Courtney and told her about it, she acted as if, that was a good thing, and she, was sort of semi-interested, but I was sort of surprised that she wasn't all excited and acted relieved or anything. But a short time later, I got a call on my cell phone from Courtney, and she says, oh, that's okay, you don't need to watch the place. I called the room, it's not him. Well, one minute she's saying she doesn't want him to know that she's looking for him, and you would think,
right.
If he was so suicidal, and as she said, everybody knows he's going to kill himself, you would think that once we located him, she would want us to contact the police and go, knock on the door and get in there and see how he's doing and make sure he's okay and all that. But instead, she calls herself and alerts whoever's in that room, if she even made the phone call, but basically then calls me back and says, it's not him, don't worry about it. So there's one more situation that was just totally inconsistent with what was going on.
And after Kurt died, Allan, Courtney Love certainly didn't play the role of the grieving widow. She went immediately out on tour. A couple of weeks later, she was screwing around with Billy Corgan at an Arizona spa, and she was partying more than ever.
She had just been sleeping with Billy Corgan. We have that on tape.
Say that start
3 weeks after Kurt died.
3 weeks after he died. Say that again, if you would, Max. I don't think the first part of your sentence came over.
3 weeks after Kurt died,
mm-hmm.
Courtney called Tom Grant from a Arizona health spa and said that she was with Billy Corgan, her ex-boyfriend. She was sleeping with him up there. And, this is 3 weeks after when she was being portrayed in People magazine as this distraught, grieving widow. She was already back with her old boyfriend.
It's interesting, as we got to take another break here, but they're going to stay with us the next hour. It's interesting how back in 95, 96, aside from a few radio shows and a couple of brave authors, these two guys you're listening to right now, Ian Halpern and Max Wallace, and a few other people, no one was going to take on Courtney Love. Today, they will. What has changed? Is it her behavior on Letterman? It's interesting how now you got Dateline tomorrow at this press conference. What time is the press conference, by the way?
Noon.
At noon, okay.
I think a lot of people are shocked at her behavior in front of her own daughter. The fact that she was overdosing in front of her daughter, and she jeopardized that relationship. I think that's what shocked a lot of the media and public, more certainly than the Letterman show, which was obviously just a stunt.
I think the 10-year period of time has also proven to those who have been afraid of her intimidation and her legal threats that she doesn't follow through.
Mm-hmm. And also, and this is what we can get into in the next hour, I don't think she has the support she used to have.
No, she definitely doesn't have the fan support. She definitely doesn't have the media support. But again, Al, this isn't about Courtney Love. It's all about Kurt Cobain. I would like Courtney Love to take a polygraph just to give her a chance to exonerate herself.
Absolutely.
I don't think she has to go that far. What we really want is for her to open up, release the medical examiner's report. That in itself, that's something she could do to clear her name.
Big one.
All she has to do is release that report, and that could prove one way or another suicide or murder.
She's refused to issue that report all these years.
Yeah, and it's inexplicable. It just does not make sense.
All right, we're going to talk.
Would vindicate her.
We're going to talk about that report and a lot more. Tom Grant, chief investigator from day one, proud to know this man, and also two brave authors, Love and Death: The Murder of Kurt Cobain. It's a new book. Who's the publisher? You said HarperCollins?
Simon & Schuster.
Simon & Schuster, major publisher. And you talk about synchronicity and timing, how things just work out. We're watching her implode on national television the same time your book comes out. Interesting.
Alan, let's hear also from your listeners.
Let's do it.
Hear from
all right, let's
the
do it.
Handelman listeners, what they believe.
All right.
Suicide or murder.
This is a really kind of a spontaneous thing that happened, and I had a kind of a feeling I wanted to leave a couple hours open for tonight's show. I didn't schedule anything on purpose, and things kind of worked out. Sometimes you have a gut feeling, and it leads to this, because we simply, actually around 6 o'clock tonight, all this came together. I haven't talked to Tom Grant in 6 or 7 years, and he was a regular on this show, and I'm so glad to make contact with him. Ian is with us. Ian Halpern, you've heard on the show many times, and the co-author of the new book, Max Wallace. They wrote the original book, Who Killed Kurt Cobain. So we get a hell of a show, and we're taking your calls at 800-ROCK-TALK, 800-762-5825. Welcome back to...
By the way, I just got an email before from this woman. She's a friend of mine in Montreal named Maria.
Mm-hmm.
And she's listening, I guess, online radio, or somehow she's getting the show piped in.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, give a message to Alan, say bonjour.
Oh, well, thank you for me, and I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really great. We are streaming on ifitrocks.com, and we have links to other streams for the show if you're in a city where the program is not heard. All right. Well, let's see. A lot of people want to talk to you, and was there something we didn't finish from the last hour before we go to the phones, guys?
Yeah, Max wanted to make a point, which I think is extremely important, about the large amount of copycat suicides that have happened since Kurt's death.
Yeah,
there have been at least 68 teenagers that have killed themselves because they thought that's what Kurt did. And the real number is probably in the hundreds, because most suicides don't leave a note. These are just people that said things like in their suicide note, I'm killing myself for Kurt.
And Tom, you were afraid that would happen.
Well, I saw it happening right from the beginning, and it was tearing me apart, staying silent as long as I did. I wasn't about to accuse somebody of murder or even say someone was murdered until I was 100% sure. But meanwhile, I kept hearing these reports coming in of these kids killing themselves. And we always knew that it wasn't because Kurt Cobain had died in a car accident. It was because this was their idol, their hero, and they thought this was the way he chose to solve his problems.
And, this is particularly tragic if these kids are killing themselves because they thought that's what Kurt did.
Oh, yeah. God, man.
And it's a whole new generation, Alan. We're getting letters all the time from kids that were 2 or 3 years old when he died, and now they're teenagers, and they're just getting into his music, and they're suicidal, and then they come across the website or other information about, possibly being murder, and it changes their whole outlook.
It's sickening, too, to hear the media refer, as a matter of fact, it was a suicide. They just say it was a suicide. They don't even bring up the fact that there's doubt.
A lot of times, even when they cover the story, they don't cover any of the real critical information. They just kind of gloss over it as if it's another conspiracy theory.
You guys
I've noticed more and more media referring to it as an apparent suicide.
Apparent suicide.
Even the New York Times once referred to it as an apparent suicide.
Tomorrow you're going to be on the Today Show. Is it in the morning? Is it today or Good Morning America?
Tomorrow morning, the Today Show at 9:15 a.m.
All right.
And the next day it is the morning show.
And we're also going to be on with Paula Zahn tomorrow night on CNN.
Excellent. We got the exclusive before the rest of them. Let's go to our calls.
You deserve it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You deserve it, and I'm just lucky enough to, my instinct said do it. I was advised not to, but my instinct said do it, and I'm glad I did. I don't regret it at all. Let's go to Jack, our first call on line 1. Jack, you're on the air. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Oh, it's Jackie. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Listening to WRDU 106.1. Go ahead, Jackie. What's on your mind?
One of the things I noticed that you guys are leaving out about the whole Courtney Love conspiracy aspects is Kristen, the ex-bassist of Hole, her being so disgusted with the band continuing and her wanting to leave the band, how she was found dead not too long after Kurt.
That's a very good point. Actually, our book is dedicated to Kristen Pfaff, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, tell us the story.
Well, Kristen Pfaff was Hole's bassist, and when she joined the band, Eric Erlandson, the guitarist, said that he credited her with making Hole what it was, with creating the sound, the distinct sound. She was very, very important to the band. And after she'd been in Hole for a while, she just got disgusted with Courtney. She just couldn't take Courtney's behavior anymore. Things were going on behind the scenes there. And she told Courtney the rest of the members of Hole that she was leaving. She couldn't take it anymore. She was quitting the band. As she left, she went on tour with her old band, Janitor Joe. She came back to Seattle to clear out her old apartment. She came with a friend of hers. And she had been clean.